I think we're live. Debs Cooper, global stressologist. Let's give this a go. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Debs Cooper, global stressologist. Like I've got to say it twice. That's how it goes. Today we're going to talk about what to do when world events are affecting your serenity. Because there's so much chaos going on. There's literally so much chaos going on right now. It's just, it's crazy, 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 crazy. But our role is to play a centering and poised state of what's going on around us. Let's put it that way. So I would love you to hashtag replay, let me know where you're from, would be awesome. And grab your note-taking device, whatever that is, if it's a pen, pencil, want to take some tips, because I'm going to give you, half a dozen or so tips that have worked for me for what's going on around me that allow me to stay poised and centered and balanced. Because if we jump into the storm, and it feels a bit like that when we jump into the storm, sometimes we don't even know we've stepped into the storm. That can go round and round and round and round. So let's crack on with these. So the first one is actually, some of these are quite common. Some of these are quite common sense, I would say. But if you feel you're out of discombobulation and it's not, then let me know. Just make sure everybody can hear me. That would be fantastic. And the first one is actually how to calm your nervous system. Now, if your nervous system is not intact, chaos can happen at any time, anywhere. You're literally like a ticking time bomb. If I could say that as nice as I possibly could. So the signs that happen for us is our breathing changes. It's not a little, it's actually a shallow breathing, and you get tightness in that chest of yours, and you have these crazy, let me just move this across. You have these crazy thoughts that come in as they come in, and they're racing. And you sometimes hear them, you feel them, you go, that's not even practical. And it just keeps going. Or you feel edgy or emotional. And I often talk about your PEMS, your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And when your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual are out of order, this is where your nervous system can be blown out. So you could be watching the news, say the world news at night. You're sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm going to watch this. And all of a sudden, everything just goes crazy. You take that energy to bed. You can't sleep. You're worrying about what's going on, of something that actually, by the way, you can't actually control. And it just escalates. It just escalates. So how many times have you gone to bed, and put my hand up already because that was actually a little bit of me last night. How many times have you gone to bed and you feel yourself and you start going, oh, I could have said that differently to somebody, or I read that in the paper, or even you just jump in and you look at your phone and something happens and you are sitting in that spiral. So this is what I want you to do. How to calm your nervous system. And so to calm it, I'd love you to just first place your hand on your heart and breathe. Now, I know we're breathing. I'm just going to say that. I clearly know you're breathing, but actually feel your breath and feel it. And I want you to take 10. That's 10. Before Kate says to me, you're funny with your accent, that's between 9 and 11. I want you to take 10 slow, deep breaths. I want you to place that hand on that heart, and I want you to focus on that and breathe. If you can go outside for fresh air or sunlight or anything, because sometimes the fresh air just changes that energy, that state from us. Any of that, just change your environment for that one moment when it feels like you're getting it too much. You can stretch. You can clearly put your arms up. You can stretch, anything like that. It's actually about moving your body. It's about moving your body and removing yourself from that spot that you are in. You can walk, you can touch your toes, anything like that. But actually what you're doing is you're just allowing yourself to be. And the other one, what you can do is you can actually just sit in silence. Now, I know some people go, oh, I can't sit in silence, I've got kids or something. The toilet's a great place. Although my daughter wasn't a big one when, if I was in the toilet, she would come and join me. It'd probably be more like the dogs actually would do that. But you can sit in silence for just a few minutes, 5 minutes, set the timer in another room or anything, or just sit there quietly and just sit in silence and look. I've got an amazing view. I'm here at my parents' house actually, where I am at the moment, but whatever that is, it's just sitting in that serenity that makes you feel beautiful around. And just by doing that will allow yourself to calm that nervous system down. Now, I've given you a few tips, or more than a few, from that one particular one. So pick anyone. Just for today, pick any one of those. Hand on heart. Sit in silence. Take your 10 deep breaths. Whatever that is, go outside. Whatever that is just allows that nervous system to go down. Or as my cousin Ben would say, it calms your farm. Yeah. So the next tip I'm going to give you is to reduce the overload. And this is one that I'm going to just say woman here. I'm not going to categorize what I'm going to categorize. I'm going to say woman here because woman, I feel we put these underwear on the outside, and we have to be everything, and we have to do everything, and we've got to prove these men wrong that we're better at this job. And like, just freaking throw that crap in the rubbish bin, because that's literally what it's worth. It's that crapful thought that we have. So I want you to reduce your overload. And when I talk about reducing your overload, it's those things of picking up the phone constantly and just checking the headlines. I know there was a phase for me that I actually would wake up and my thought would go, what's Trump done? Now, that would be it. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, where did this come from? What's Trump done? What's he done now? Because I'm watching the petrol prices, because I'm watching what's going on out there. And I realized I'm actually labeling it something. I'm labeling it Trump's problem, which is not correct. It's a world problem right now. So reducing that overload means you don't have to constantly check the headlines. You know, you're scrolling on your phone and you're like, oh, I know what it is. And each time you read something, you're taking it personally. You're feeling that drained energy that hits you just from that social media. You're absorbing everyone's opinion. You know, they may say, in my opinion, and any of these things, and you're like, yes, yes, yes. And you're taking it on. It's like they're throwing mud at you. You're collecting that mud that's hitting at you, and then it's drying up, and you're having to pick it off bit by bit. You know, those ones that people just say things. Sometimes they just say it, but you're actually taking it really on. And when you're absorbing other people's opinions and energy, it's really hard for you to snap out of it. But I'm giving you these strategies for this. Because if you don't, it's just going to build and build and build and build and build. We know that. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your social media, if you're going to check the news or you're going to watch the news, any of those things, just do it once or twice a day. That's it. Stop the notifications from coming on just once or twice a day. You'll be able to do this. And the other thing is you can turn off, like on my phone, you can turn off notifications so you don't see it. That's a great one. I mean, I often do that if I'm just switching off for something. You can look at these pages that you're doing that are throwing all this stuff out there, the media, whatever's going on, and you can either unfollow or you can snooze them. And I'm talking about fear-based pages. Now, I know there's somebody on my social media who just, I popped up just before I know, I went, oh no, they're doing it again, crikey. And so I just unfriended. I didn't even go down that path. I'm like, I can't cope with this. This is just actually, you are one of these people. And that's okay. Love them dearly in person sometimes, but when they're in that state, I'm just not interested. I have better things to do with my time and energy. They think they're okay. I think I'm okay. We'll just agree to disagree. That's it. So you can follow people. You can follow these fear-based pages. You can unfollow these people, whatever that is. You can also create phone-free mornings. Ooh, how does that feel? You can create phone-free mornings. And when I say phone-free mornings, I'm talking about just leaving your phone. I did this last week. I actually turned my phone off. There was so much going on. I just turned my phone off, and it was like 4.5 hours. I went, where is my phone? And I picked it up, and I hadn't even realized I'd been so busy with doing other things that I hadn't even realized my phone was turned off. Now, so you can do these things, and it's okay. You can also check in with yourself. Is this actually helping me right here, right now, or is this hindering me? This is it. Is this helping me right now, or is this hindering me? Just a simple little shift for that to actually take that overload of explosive thought down to a grounding place. Now, the next tip I'm going to give you is actually bringing it back to you. And this is about coming back to your your awareness of what or your circle of control, if I was to say that, come back to your circle of control of what's around you. When you're feeling helpless, or you're complaining with no action, or you're frozen and overwhelmed. Frozen and overwhelmed is just such a common one. Such a common one because it just gets too much. You're like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know if I'm turning left, right, or what I'm doing. Or you're getting angry about things that are so far away from you that it's just absurd to even think that you're going to reach it. You're getting angry about things. The other day I talked to somebody and they were so angry about the diesel prices here in New Zealand. They're like, I'm going to stop paying my diesel miles. I'm going to do this. And I'm like, great, that's it. But this is actually outside your reach. This is something that you can't control. And so when we're thinking in that spiral that we can't control it, we get so angry and so wound up. And the diesel prices, they're not worried about your emotion, are they? No, clearly not. They're doing their thing. So when we feel we're getting out of sorts for this, what you can do is just get your pen and I want you to write down what you can control today. What are those things that you can control today that actually will help you get through? And that's your emotions, your decisions, and your actions. Your emotions, your decisions, and your actions. That's all you can control. You can't control other people. You can't control someone on the other side of the world. You can't control that the diesel prices are going up. You can't control that they're cancelling flights because they're saving money. You can't control any of that. Well, unless you're actually part of, being amongst that. And when you're looking at what you can control, I want you to focus on your attitude. What is really going on for you? And when I say focus on your attitude, are you moody? Are you grumpy? Just check in with yourself. This is okay. It doesn't matter if you're sitting on an 11 out of 10 and 10 being discombobulated. It doesn't matter if you're sitting there. Just actually focus on your attitude, because when you can acknowledge it and you can see it, that makes a massive shift for you. And you can choose just one productive next step. So when we're talking about coming back to that circle of control, what can you control right now? And what's one productive thing that's going to get you through whatever this is? And I think I'm going to sneeze, people. I don't know how to snooze it if it quieten if I do sneeze, so I'll just roll with this as we go. But the other thing, you can also look at your environment. What is your environment saying? And if you can look at your environment, you can actually improve your own environment first. And it's about what feels right for you. What feels right for you. And then when you do that, when you're improving your own environment and you go into a strategy brain takes you out of emotion. And that means that worry that you've got actually turns into action, which actually turns into fulfillment. When you've got that worry and you go into a strategy brain, it turns into action. What am I going to do? I'm turning that worry into an action. And then what am I going to do? And then what's going to be the result of that? And you do it. And that alone allows you to step through that emotional chaos, that discombobulation of whatever that is. Now, one that's very, very, very common, and from the 4 agreements, I use this all the time, and it's a challenging one. It's a challenging one. It takes practice. So again, just for today, I want you to try one of these things. And so this is actually, who knows what this one is? It's got a P word in there. It's called don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. So what happens is, we talk to someone and we take on their fears, and it's like they've given us something, or they've shared something, and we've gone, oh, I'll hold on to that for you. I'll hold on to that fear for you. I feel for you. I can do this. Or you post something on your social media, and somebody starts attacking you. This is, you get upset about other people's opinions, and usually it's online. I'm just going to say most of the time. It can be face to face. Definitely can be face to face. But what actually also happens is you actually start internalizing someone else's BS. Now, when I say BS, I'm talking about belief system. Thank you, Moira. I used to word it differently, but it's their belief system. And so what you do is you start taking on someone else's anger. And that's not yours to take on. I'm going to be very firm. That's not yours to take on. And if you go into conversations with people and they're tense, or their PEMS is out of order, and there's a little bit of that, you start feeling like you're attacked. You're feeling like they're attacking your conversation. They're attacking who you are. And you can be in love with this person. This could be somebody you've been with for 10, 15 years, and then suddenly they start turning on you, and you take it personally. You take whatever's going on. So somebody could be let's just say a family member. A family member vents about politics or world events or anything like this, and you personally carry that stress for hours. And I'm going to bring up Trump. Some people like Trump, some people don't. And it's one of those conversations that you're either just going all in or not. But I will say, when someone vents about Trump, whether it's a positive or negative, it's not your place to try and change them. And pardon me for using him as an example, because he just seems to be all over our news at the moment in New Zealand. And what happens is you start taking that stress that someone has a personal thing they don't like Trump, and you start taking it on board for yourself. So I want you to think about this. Here's some resolution tips for you. I want you to think about this. I want you to remember that people project their inner world. People project their inner world. So whatever is going on for them, that's what they're going to project. When they're projecting, and I'm going to label it projecting, I want you to listen without absorbing. Just listen without absorbing. Now, everyone wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. If you can see them, if you can hear them, if you can acknowledge them, that's great. That's it. You don't have to agree with them. I'll add that extra. You don't have to agree. But if you can see someone, you can hear them, you can acknowledge. So when you're hearing them, you actually can pause, and you're not taking this personally. You can actually pause before speaking, reacting. You can go, okay, this is their stuff. This is their stuff of whatever's going on. And you can let others own their emotion. If they're moody, they're moody. It's not your role to change them, and it's not your role to perk them up. Even if they're a family member, there's someone close to you, it's not your role, it's their role. You can give them little snippets, but sometimes people don't actually want to hear your opinion. They just want to vent. I remember I had a friend, and she used to vent, and it would only be when she would put her phone against the wall. I'd go, oh, okay, I'm not listening. Now, it was a pretty brutal thing to be doing, but I would be sitting in my little bubble. So I want you to protect your peace, that serenity that you have, and I want you to do that without guilt, because this is about you. You get up in the morning, you take the breath, you're the one who gets through the day, and you're the one who ends the day with that. So I want you to protect that serenity you've got without any guilt. I also want you to, my next one here is to lead with love, not fear. Now, when I say lead with love, not fear, we're fearful of saying something to people. We're fearful of doing something wrong. And this, when you're in fear, it's actually going to stop you from doing anything. It's going to immobilize you. So I want you to lead with love, not fear. And what this means is, because you can react emotionally. Somebody can say something and you can just react emotionally, or you can watch something, or you can read something and it just goes, and you can jump into that. You join the panic conversations, if I was to say it. Somebody's saying something or harsh or judgmental, and suddenly, all of a sudden, you're in it. And that happens because we are not 100% feeling in who we are at the moment. And all of a sudden, we start spreading that negativity. And we do it unconsciously without even knowing, because we're actually jumping into that fear base. And that can also be in your heated comments, when you jump in and somebody says something, and all of a sudden you jump in, and then it keeps going and going and going and going and going. So I want you to think about this. If you're going to lead with love, we're going into that heart space. I'd love you to pause before speaking. Pause before speaking. And I want you to ask yourself, will this create peace? Will this create serenity? Will this calm this down? Will this create this, whatever you want to label it, And it just allows you to actually go out of the spiraling mind to ground yourself back to asking your question, will this create this? And then we can actually look at being steady in these uncertain times. And so when I say be steady, that is that lead yourself first. Go back to that heart space, lead yourself first for whatever that is. And it goes back to what's important to me right now. Now, the next one, and it's been a while since I've actually talked about this. Ha, 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 ha. As I say, this is my little glitter. So I'm talking about your glitter bomb. And you're going to do what lights you up. Now, what lights you up may be different to what lights me up. So we're very clear on that. So we're going to do what lights you up. So sometimes you just feel heavy and you're losing that inspiration, that motivation, whatever it is, and you're feeling consumed by what's going on around you. And you're forgetting that Your spark is truly important, just as important as your children, just as important as your family, just as important as your partner, just as important as your colleagues, just as important as the lady in the coffee shop or the man on the road, whatever that is. Your glitter is important to you. And we forget that. We can take on a comment on social media from our phone, and we can just absorb it, and we can just absorb hours, spending hours consuming that stressful, chaotic content. But that's not what it's about. So I want you to think of finding that glitter. Now, the glitter is whatever that is. Whatever that is. If it means your favorite lipstick, put it on. Create something. Laugh with a friend. Dance to one song, go outside, do something meaningful that it fills your heart up, that you want to serve the world with. Whatever, phone a friend, jump onto my YouTube and look at all my content and get in there and watch some of that, or listen to my Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast conversation I have with Moira. They're different. They're just little insights that give you. It's just about changing that state of yours. And this will help you reconnect to what actually lights you up. And when you're connected to that, you can't go wrong. That is that glitter, whatever that is. Now, I've got glitter drink bottles, I've got glitter cups, I've grabbed my glitter thing, and I've got a few little damaged fingers here. So this texture of this, rubbing the glitter on my pen just makes me feel even more special. So when I touch a glitter pen and it's got the ribbed for her pleasure, pardon me, mother. But when I've got that, it feels good. There's just something about sparkle, 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 and it's got that little bumpy to it. So these are the things that light me up throughout the day when I start feeling like life is getting heavy for me. Because even me as a stressologist who's been around for 20 odd years in this role, it still feels heavy sometimes. I'm human. I'm here, human, having a human experience. So the next one, and you know I'm going to talk about this. Here it goes. You are not alone. This is Debs Cooper. So what tends to happen is when we think we are alone, we retreat. We feel like nobody actually understands us. And we carry that stress, that chaos, that discombobulation, we carry it alone. And you don't have to. You don't have to cope by yourself. You don't have to. There is always somebody there. And the reason I'm just going to say more me over a friend is a friend will hold on to that stuff. If you tell a friend that you're feeling wobbly, they are going to check in on you 20 times a day. Are you okay? Are you okay? You're going to start passing that stress to somebody. We know we do that. But if you pass it to me, I've got a great vortex around me that I can absorb your energy, and I can hold that space and beautiful love for you. I can shift you out of that verbally and energetically. So you just got to be cautious of who you're saying that to. So clearly I'm going to say myself. So you're going to call me, or you're going to message me, or whatever, and we're going to talk honestly. And what we're going to do is we're going to find out what the heck is going on. Where is this discombobulation that I can smooth out for you? But you're better to do it before you get into the spiral, because when you get into the spiral, that's a whole new story. So let's get this done before we get into the spiral. And you're going to let that connection we have carry the load, and not you carry the load on your own. Whatever you present with me is not going to be something I guarantee. I bet you what you present to me is not something that I've never heard before. In fact, I'll put money on it. Whatever you say to me, your problem is, I guarantee I've worked through it. 20 years I've helped thousands of people around the world, and I still get amused when people come to me. It's the same stuff I was dealing with 20 years ago. So I'm here for you. Clearly. I've tried to go as quick as I can. I know my time. But I want to say something just important, because the world right now needs us. The world needs us more than ever to be grounded. The world may be loud. The headlines I read this morning, they were heavy. They were heavy again. But that's the world. But we want your inner world. And your inner world does not have to mirror the chaos outside. Your inner world is where we're working on. And when you can control that inner world, that's where your being is going to be. So it does not necessarily mean the chaos outside is going to come into you. So I want you to protect that energy, that space, that serenity, that peace that you have. I want you to lead with your beautiful energy And I want you to choose serenity over chaos. And summing up, before I go, I want to say the world may be loud. The world may be loud because it is a little bit loud at the moment. But your soul already knows the sound of peace. Are you going to listen? Are you going to listen to that? Yeah. Okay. I can hear it as I hear myself say this. So that is me, Debs Cooper, global stressologist, signing off on what to do when world events are affecting your serenity. Thank you for joining me. It's been great. I will see you next week on another journey. But I will put in the comments to come and join with me, connect with me. I'm here for you. You don't have to do this alone. Thank you very much. Debs Cooper, global stressologist, signing off. I will see you next time. Bye.